So it was reported the other day by Ramona Shelburne, who did an awesome job on that article over there at ESPN, that Ben Simmons has reportedly missed out on around $19 million this year with Philadelphia because he's been unavailable. You know, he is getting fined. He's not playing basketball for Philly. He wants to be traded. Daryl Morey and the Sixers, they're fighting back. They're like, we'll trade you when we want to trade you. We don't think an offer's on the table that we deem suitable for your services right now and that best benefits our team. So Philadelphia is likely going to sit on Ben Simmons past the trade deadline. Look, Philly's in the contention for the number one seed out east. They're right in the thick of things, like about 9 other teams are in the Eastern Conference right now. So to me, as we get closer to this trade deadline, whether Philly trades Ben Simmons or not, I do believe this is a pivotal spot. This week, with the trade deadline a week away, this is a pivotal spot for both Ben Simmons and this Philadelphia 76ers organization. And if you allow me to, I'll explain both sides. For Simmons, it is quite simple. If Philly is able to get that number 2 seed, I say number 2, number 3 seed or better without you, and I know they were number 1 out east last year, but I mean, if you think about it, if you're running a business, this is simple. Like if you get rid of a guy that's making $30, $40 million and you're able to stay within the top realm of your company and the top realm against competing companies, then in all likelihood, it's like, yo, we could take our time getting rid of this piece, right? Like that's Philly. Like if they're able to, pretty much stay afloat, it's like, yo, I mean, how much better does Ben Simmons make you versus a Tyrese Maxey right now, who I like a lot? Again, Simmons clearly a better defender, but in an era where, you got to be able to score the rock, Tyrese is clearly a better scorer than Ben Simmons, who doesn't even take shots. It's tough grading where Ben Simmons is in the NBA landscape because we're trying to grade defense versus guys that score in a league that benefits guys that score versus guys that play defense. You see what I'm saying? So that's a tough one. That's a tough one. If Philly's able to still get a top 3 seed and Simmons ain't played a game this year, I don't know. I mean, Rich Paul, Ben Simmons, y'all playing with fire right now. Now, I'm going to say Philly's also playing with fire. Listen to this. If you got a team that's competing for a top 3, top 4 seed, and your second best player has not been around, and your best player has had injury issues in the past, a big dude, 7'2", and look, I've been a guy that says, Giannis is going to be a great player for probably the next 10 years. I don't know if that's the case for Embiid. I would tend to believe by 31, 32, Embiid's going to really have a hard time getting through seasons. This is his prime now. You don't have tomorrow with Joel Embiid. It is now. Are you really willing to waste because you're not beating Giannis and the Bucks without not only a healthy Joel Embiid, but an adequate number 2. You're not beating some of these teams out east in the playoffs. This is a great regular season story where Joel Embiid has been able to get out of Philly, and he might win the MVP for his efforts. Doc Rivers doing a phenomenal job at coach for Philly this year. He's one of the greatest regular season coaches of all time. But you're not winning a championship right now with this team the way it's currently constructed. How important is it for you to be right and the ego to stroke it versus actually going for this thing? So this is a big moment the upcoming days for both Philly as a franchise and Ben Simmons as a player. You can look at it from either way. You let me know what you think. Who has more to lose by standing on their laurels here as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline? Is it Ben Simmons by potentially losing more value, losing more money, and, maybe not being a part of a team that could potentially be a top 3 seed out east without him? Or is it Philadelphia who, for all intents and purposes, are wasting an all-time level talent's prime years?